That's it for the announcements, but about almost exactly a year ago, I asked you guys to write in and tell me your top 5 favorite scary movies and books and games. A lot of you guys did a lot of very interesting answers. I actually love that, even though I was asking for movies, multiple people talked about the Blink episode of Doctor Who, which is super scary. Really one of the creepiest things you'll ever see on TV. So hats off to that one. I'll tell you mine right now. I'm going to start out with books. There's a book called The Ghost That Haunted Itself, which I honestly picked up because the name sounded so dumb I couldn't wait to make fun of it, and I ended up buying the book. And it is one of the scariest, creepiest books I've read. It's all written from the first person point of view about the guy that kind of discovered the Mackenzie poltergeist in Edinburgh, Scotland. The paranormal encounters involve physical attacks, and I can't wait to go to Scotland myself to be attacked by bloody George Mackenzie now. I honestly don't take a road trip anywhere without the National Directory of Haunted Places. You can see it's very weathered and worn because it's gone thousands of miles at this point. Because you just don't know. You're driving through, from point A to point B, but you're going through all these little towns in the middle. Maybe when visiting Cobleskill, New York, you'll want to go to the Bull's Head Inn and not have any idea what the hell that is, but you find it in this book and now, hey, you want to visit it. Now, of course, the top spots for me, parts 3, 2, and 1, just a three-way tie. Ursula Bielski's Chicago Haunt series. Her first book is the reason that I got started doing this, and I'm doing it more than 10 years later now. Chicago Haunts 3 is what's in my hand now. I have them all. I love them all. She talks about the Lake Michigan Triangle, which I'd never heard of before, which really, truly eerie story you cannot miss. The Museum of Science and Industry, the captured German U-boat that is there. She's got some first-hand encounters that she mentions in the book and she talks about. It'll blow your mind. Also, Michael Klein's Haunting the Prairie book. It covers all of Illinois, and again, covers all of these stories that even though I've grown up just about my entire life in Illinois, so many stories I'd never heard before, so many very, very interesting things. And of course, my own book. I'm not even going to brag about it, but yes, my book, Voices from the Chicago Grave. And I want to thank people. There's been a lot of purchases lately, and thanks to you guys, I've been able to go out and buy some of the gadgets, which I've never had, because I'm not really a ghost hunter. I'm the researcher dude that goes to the historical societies and has my nose buried in books. But I got some of the fun gadgets now, the EMF detectors and the full spectrum and the ghost, the spirit box. When I'm not speaking, I'm going to be going out, snooping around and making more videos for you guys to watch. So of course, drop me a line here on this page or at the website slimpictures.com to let me know where I should visit. I'll be all over the country investigating places, really just anywhere in the world. Tell me, you want me to go to Rathdrum, Idaho? I'll check out Idaho. I don't know what's up there, but David Black from SOS Chicago says that you could throw a dart at a map and go to any town and they've got some cool ghost stories. And I believe that. So tell me yours anywhere in the world and I want to go check it out myself. But back to the top 5s. Top 5 favorite supernatural movies. For me, Stir of Echoes is a great ghost story movie. It's a little bit biased because it was shot in Chicago. It's a very, very good, solid ghost story movie. I love the Mothman prophecies. Not really ghost story, but certainly supernatural, and you gotta love the fact that it's based on a true story. I don't think any list is complete without Poltergeist. One of the classics, one of just the great ghost story movies. Insidious. Now, when I first asked you guys the question, you guys hadn't seen Insidious yet, but I have to imagine that movie's on some of your lists now if you've seen it. I think it gets a little off the rails at the end, but in general, it's a fun and super scary movie. And number 1 to me is the Pang Brothers' original Thai film, The Eye. There was an American remake, also by the Pang Brothers. Definitely see the original. Now games, I cannot honestly think of top 5. I like games, but I don't play nearly enough. But, however, The Seventh Guest, and there's so many people that still love that game. It was an old CD-ROM game, one of the first I think it was actually the first CD-ROM game. The Seventh Guest. It's a very spooky, creepy, mysterious type game. And more recently, one of the first games for Xbox 360 actually was Condemned. And it's a really scary game. I mean, it takes a lot to bump off Seventh Guest, in my opinion. For me, it really makes me think of actually going out and investigating the Sunnybrook Asylum or Mantino Asylum. The reality of the game, it's first person, you're sneaking around corners, and it is petrifying. I don't know any other games where I've actually yelled while playing it, but that was several times, literally jumping and screaming several times per level. You never got desensitized to it, at least I didn't. And you know what, speaking of, Mirrors was a very good movie, and that movie reminds me of the game and vice versa.